Collective read. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First cards that we are starting with today, we've got 2 cards coming out right now. We have here heavy masculine energy coming into play right now with our King of Pentacles in combination with our Knight of Swords in its reversal. So this is going to be feeling right now a bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy right now, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. For masculine energy right now, there is a moment that could be pulling you or feeling like you're being pulled in 2 different positions right now. Because while we are observing that for the masculine energy, there is this moment of trying to build stability for yourself with a concentration on stabilizing efforts at this time, we are also seeing and recognizing to a certain extent that there are some situations or circumstances that are making you feel like a bit of robbed confidence here, that there's some kind of anxiety that's potentially coming into play as it relates to your own doubts and fears. But what we appreciate about this for the masculine energy is even while you may be experiencing this moment right now, we see that that orientation and optics is coming back into building that stable foundation for yourself, even in the midst of some situations or circumstances that have maybe potentially made you feel like this need to potentially pull back, if you will, or feeling some of that lack of confidence in some spaces at this moment. For masculine energy, this is kind of feeling like dual energy that you're experiencing right now. So it could be feeling like a bit of a challenge point at this moment. While for feminine energy right now, this is either working right now with an orientation of a single manifestation of masculine that you are working with right now to help amend these feelings that they themselves are experiencing, recognizing that there is a masculine energy that's focused on building this foundation at this moment, even through some moments of uncertainty that they are experiencing around their own confidence and ability to do so. While for the other part of the feminine collective right now, this could actually be identifying potentially different masculine energies that are currently being experienced, and they might not necessarily be the same energy. For instance, we are seeing here that there is a masculine energy here that is feeling very stable or supportive or working to manifest this type of energy towards yourself at this moment, while also having to put a lot of consideration around masculine energy that you feel isn't coming forward in the way or degree that you would ideally desire at this point. So this is you effectively potentially having to navigate multiple masculine energies that are embodying these separate qualities, or a single that is manifesting both of these at this moment. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Second card we have coming through right now in our 5-card spread is... we have here judgment, a moment of determination, allowing this to be that point of clearance. We are seeing here, we are in the middle of that new moon energy, allowing for those shifts to occur. A lot of energy being shed at this time, a lot of choices being made for both masculine and feminine energy at this moment. There is a lot of determination that needs to be made at this time. For masculine energy right now, there are some moments right now of having to make some decisions, potentially as it relates to some circumstances or situations that you are addressing right now in order to work to build this stability for yourself at this moment, while also feeling some degree of uncertainty as it relates to your course of action or your plan to go forward at this moment. While for feminine energy right now, we are seeing that again, this is also a moment that you could potentially be working through right now with the masculine energy, who you are similarly experiencing that they are also working either in union with you at this time to build this stabilization point, even through their own doubts or fears at this moment. Or similarly, this could be interpreted for those that are not in union right now as a moment of having to make a choice between potentially different masculine energies. This is some of that old energy that is being released to allow for the new energy to come in. For some of the feminine energy right now, this is potentially coming through and recognizing a choice to be made around whether you're moving towards masculine energy that you feel is in this stable capacity right now, or if you are working through any situations or circumstances with masculine that you are not seeing that direction, you're not seeing that course of action, you're not seeing that path forward. Feminine is being forced to make their own choices right now, again, either working in union with this energy or potentially having to make a point of decision right now around the masculine energy as they go forward from this point. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Third card, center card for our spread for today. May I please have the center card? we have coming through here, we love to see this energy. We've got here our Six of Cups. So what are we seeing and identifying right now that is allowing for this point in terms of how to go forward from this point? Everything we're seeing here, the direction for both masculine and feminine energy right now, is specifically around working on those healthy karmic connections. What energy you feel is supportive at this time? What energy do you feel is giving back what you are putting in at this moment? A lot of care and attention and degree of care and attention is being paid to those supportive environments, those supportive connections in your own life, the karmic energies that you recognize are healed and in a space of healing as you go forward and make these choices from this moment going forward. Again, for masculine right now, with a lot of care and attention, both on building your own stability at this point, with a lot of concentration towards those stabilizing factors around you right now, those healthy karmic energies. Though not just what we love about this energy for masculine right now is not only is it coming through as supportive for your own self at this time, but with a lot of care and consideration for the energy around you and what and how to move forward, both to create this point of stability not only for yourself at this moment, but also the energy that you are similarly looking towards and receiving that support in kind. This is giving a beautiful moment of reciprocation that is coming forward from this point. But we do see that from the masculine energy, there is this moment that is requiring some decisions and choices to be made around some areas that you are feeling your own confidence is being somewhat shaken on at this time. While for feminine energy, we are seeing here that, again, there's a lot of care and attention right now to working through some choices that you yourself need to make at this moment, with a lot of care and concentration towards those healthy karmic energies around you at this time. What feels like it is coming through as supportive? What feels like it is coming through as stabilizing right now? For feminine energy that's working in union right now with masculine energy, this is recognizing and working with this energy to make these points of determination as you proceed forward from this point, even recognizing some situations or circumstances that you may need to lend that type of support towards a masculine energy that you are recognizing in some capacity is having some of their own confidence shaken today. With that Wheel of Fortune in its reversal that we received today as well, that point of observation. While for the feminine energy that is not in union right now, this could potentially be a moment that you yourself are making some choices for yourself in this moment as it relates to the masculine energy that you are going to continue to move around with right now. Because what we're really seeing for the feminine energy is there's a lot of care and concentration being paid today on what feels like it is supportive, what feels like it is reciprocal, what karmic connections feel like they are in that ability or have that ability to heal at this time. And that is allowing you to inform your choice in terms of moving right now in that point of stabilization with a concentration towards masculine energy that you feel is in that supportive and stable environment that is able to create that sense of reciprocity for you at this time as it relates to emotionality, as it relates to a sense of stability in whatever way that you really imagine or foresee that, versus any energy that you aren't necessarily seeing that same directionality towards to a certain extent, or you're not potentially seeing that movement on right now. Feminine energy is really allowing their choices right now to be dictated by what they feel is supportive and stable as they proceed forward from this point. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Fourth card coming through in our 5-card spread for today is, we have here our Six of Pentacles in its reversal. This is exactly what we're talking about as it relates to reciprocity right now. That equal give and take, that ability to share and to get back in kind. For feminine energy, there is a deep point of recognition that is coming through right now around what energy feels like it is stable, it is supportive, that is creating that environment of reciprocity as you go forward from this point, versus any situations or circumstances that you may be identifying or not necessarily seeing that type of reciprocity in right now. For feminine energy that is not in potentially in union right now, this could be a point of determination that you're potentially making towards masculine energies at this time, with a lot of care and consideration as to whether you're seeing that level and degree of reciprocity in the karmic connection right now to empower you to go forward from this point, versus any situations or circumstances that you may be not necessarily seeing that type of reciprocity. You're not getting back that type of energy. This is that moment of choice for the feminine energy to proceed forward on the path, on the healthy karmic energies right now. While for feminine energy that is in union right now, this could be working right now around a point or opportunity to help build a point of stabilization with a masculine energy that is feeling some moment right now of their own confidence being shaken as it relates to the path going forward right now. We are seeing here with the masculine and feminine energy that it's in union right now. There's a lot of harmony that's being made right now in terms of making some of these joint decisions, specifically for a care degree in terms of looking in those areas right now that you feel are supportive versus any spaces or places that you may not necessarily be seeing that level and degree of reciprocity in right now that is potentially creating some of the anxiety around the masculine energy in the first place. While for feminine and masculine energy right now, this is that point of orientation that we're really seeing that you are yourself are paying a lot of attention to at this moment. Again, with a lot of care and degree around your own sense of stability at this time, versus any spaces or places that are making you feel this point of some of your own confidence being shaken at this moment. For masculine energy, there's a lot of care and determination that's being made right now around that path going forward, with a lot of concentration on building stability, not only for yourself at this moment, but towards the karmic energies that you are looking towards and relying on right now for that point of support, with a lot of care and orientation in terms of what feels like it is creating that equal give and take versus addressing any circumstances or situations that you may not feel are in that level and degree of reciprocity at this moment. Final card for today's spread, fifth card that we are seeing here today is, we've got here coming through right now, our world in its reversal. What we're really seeing, world in its upright. What we like about seeing this card right now is the fact that even through some of these hurdles that are being experienced right now, there is this moment of coming into better balance, of finding this ability or degree of hitting a point of a flow state, even through moments or situations right now that could be feeling like they're creating some sense of challenge at this time. For both masculine and feminine energy, we love to see this card as our fifth card in the spread, because what we're really identifying at this moment is for both masculine and feminine energy, there is this moment of working through any of these hurdles with a point of observation in terms of what doesn't feel like it is moving in alignment right now versus what does. For feminine and masculine energy that is in union right now, this is a moment of coming into balance, in working in union right now to address any situations or circumstances that you are not necessarily feeling that degree of reciprocity in at this moment, all with this sense of trying to come into a more holistic point of view as you proceed forward from this point, allowing this to be a small hurdle that is effectively worked through at this time with a concentration, not necessarily sweating on the small moment or detail here, but with that greater eye towards what you are trying to create for yourselves as you proceed forward from this point. And it is this from this point of world orientation that we see that a lot of these decisions are being made right now with a lot of care and consideration, again taking on that more holistic approach in terms of the bigger picture to help navigate this small hurdle that you yourself are potentially experiencing at this time. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union right now, this could be working through a lot of these hurdles. For masculine energy that is not in union right now, this could be a lot of work that you are doing on your own self at this moment. That there are some situations or circumstances that are potentially, again, a lot of concentration towards building your own sense and stability of self at this moment, versus a lot of observations right now around some situations or circumstances where you're feeling this moment of a lack of confidence as it relates to how to proceed forward at this time. You are basing a lot of your decisions right now on what energy feels like it is coming forward in this karmically supportive, positive way. Potentially a lot of care and consideration even towards a masculine energy right now, towards not necessarily even romantic connection right now, but this could be a lot of connection towards family or having to deal with a lot of circumstances right now on those healed karmic energies, be they friendships, family, anyone who you feel this reciprocity from, versus some point of orientation right now that is potentially taking away your own ability to give forth in certain areas at this time. That there may be something here that is requiring some degree of action right now to heal in, because there's something that is preventing you from being able to be in that state of reciprocity at this moment. But again, for the masculine energy that is not in union, we're seeing that there's a lot of care and orientation that is coming through right now in terms of coming into this state of flow, allowing this adaptability at this moment to help you keep your eye on the bigger picture, even through any of these setbacks. But we do see here that there's a lot of big decisions that you are making at this time as you move into these positions or these circumstances and situations that you are also recognizing need some degree of workaround at this time. But for masculine energy, this could be feeling like more of a challenge today, because we do see here that there is some anxiety around your own confidence being robbed around certain situations or circumstances right now, that you're feeling that you're not seeing that reciprocity at this moment. While for feminine energy right now, you are effectively working through some moments or opportunities right now that you yourself are working on right now around masculine energy, that you are, again, if you are in union at this time, you are working tangibly with the masculine energy through a moment of uncertainty, working to achieve those moments right now and lending support to masculine energy that is having some points or points of confidence that they are losing in circumstances and situations at this time, utilizing that power or that importance of the healed karmic energies at this point to come into that state of union, to come into that greater state of flow at this moment that is helping you make a lot of these decisions as you proceed forward from this point. While for the feminine energy that is not necessarily in union at this time, this could be a point of decision that you yourself are being forced to make potentially around circumstances and situations, with a lot of care and consideration at this time towards the supportive energy that is around you at this moment, analyzing and really looking at the relationships towards you right now to ask yourself, do you see that care and degree of support at this moment, or are they not necessarily giving back in kind? All for the state of building this deeper flow state as you proceed forward from this point. Continuing to get clarity on these cards right now between our Knight of Swords in its reversal, in combination with our King of Pentacles energy, in combination with our Judgment energy. So again, for masculine energy right now, there is this moment of putting a lot of care and attention into stability of the self at this moment, with some moments right now where you're feeling some lack of confidence, but you are not necessarily letting that lack of confidence prevent you from making the choices that you need to make at this time. Letting this be instead a point of judgment with a lot of clarification in terms of trying to build this stability for yourself as you proceed forward from this point. While for feminine energy right now, we are seeing that again, this is a moment that you yourself are working through, making some of these determinations right now. If you are in union right now with masculine energy, this is working with a masculine energy that is similarly going through this experience, and you are working with them to make these determinations as you proceed forward from this point. While if you are not in union right now, this could be a moment of making a determination right now towards either a singular masculine energy that is embodying these qualities at this time, or potentially having to make a determination factor around multiple masculine energies, with a lot of care and consideration right now being paid to what feels like it is coming through in a way that feels stabilizing and supportive, versus energy that you may be identifying or articulating upon that you feel you're not seeing that level of confidence, you're not seeing that degree of confidence that you would ideally desire at this moment as you proceed forward from this point. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Page of Pentacles in its reversal. For both masculine and feminine energy right now, this is that moment of orientation that we're seeing as you proceed forward from this point. With masculine energy here, this is a lot of care and consideration right now being paid to some of the decisions that you need to make at this time, with a lot of concentration in the tangible space at this moment, recognizing circumstances and situations that you are feeling some degree of uncertainty around right now. And what we're actually seeing right now is some of that moment right now of that lack of confidence is kind of taking away your own ability to come forward to some degree right now. For masculine energy, this could be a lot of challenging energy that we're seeing coming through right now today, because while we see that there is this moment that you're trying to make some determinations right now, there is this point of uncertainty in terms of what it is that you necessarily need to do in this moment in order to amend this lack lack of confidence that you may be experiencing at this time. For both masculine energy, this is going to feel like a lot of difficulty right now as it relates to some of the decisions in terms of where you're moving forward at this moment. While for feminine energy, this is working right now with either in union, a masculine energy that is similarly in this space of feeling some anxieties and doubts in terms of what is able to be brought forth at this time. But again, offering that ability, working in union with that energy to make the determinations as you proceed forward from this point. While for the feminine energy that is not in union right now, this could be a moment that you yourself are observing, that you are trying to make determinations for yourself with a recognition in terms of what is coming forward towards you at this time, what is able to be seen as tangible, supportive at this moment. For feminine energy right now, there is a moment right now of really wanting to see this level and degree of some kind of tangible ability to show this consideration point. For feminine energy, we see here that there's either a masculine energy that you're working on that you are recognizing has this degree of ability at this moment, even though they're going through a point of their own anxieties and doubts and fears. So you are recognizing that this is potentially a short-lived inability to come forward in the way that they would ideally desire at this point. While for the other part of the feminine energy right now, what we're really identifying is this is a moment that you yourself are simply observing and recognizing what feels like it is coming towards you in a supportive fashion at this point. And that is helping you make that determination point towards the energy that you yourself want to commit towards at this moment versus any spaces or places that you may be pulling away from because you're simply not seeing that same degree of eagerness, that same degree of drive or movement through a point of difficulty that is helping to guide your decisions as you proceed forward from this point. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between the Judgment card in combination with our Six of Cups energy, which we love to see right now, because what we are really seeing right now is a moment of recognition, working right now with healthy karmic energies, working to heal those energies in your own life right now that you are recognizing give you that equal give and take. Create that supportive system for you at this moment. And a lot of your decisions being based on that as you proceed forward from this point. For both masculine and feminine energy, may I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Four of Swords energy. So for masculine and feminine energy right now, there is this moment that is feeling like there is a degree of rest that is required. Having some opportunity of allowing for some rest to be expressed or moved into at this time. For feminine and masculine energy, what we're seeing here is there is a point of determination as it relates to coming into some sense of easement at this time. This could be allowing for a lot of opportunities today to put some care and attention into rest. Potentially, especially for the masculine energy that we are seeing to a certain degree is in this moment of feeling some of this confidence that they need to kind of work through right now. Masculine energy is getting that sort of support. For the feminine, this is helping the masculine energy come into this restive state to allow this point of peace through some difficulties or hurdles that the masculine is feeling around their own confidence at this moment. While for the feminine energy and the masculine energy that is not in union at this time, there could be a lot of care and attention that you are potentially paying right now towards what energy that you are feeling is supportive at this time, what is coming through as a healed karmic energy versus any spaces or places that you may be identifying or not seeing that type of activity around right now. This is that moment of allowing some of that point to come into a state of rest, allowing some of that easement. This is some of that Wheel of Fortune energy that we saw in its reversal. Recognizing this point of orientation right now in coming into a restive state around circumstances or situations that you may have had to address around energy that isn't necessarily moving towards you in the way that you would ideally desire at this point. That could be that separate Knight of Swords energy that we're seeing here that is putting a lot of care and attention into as you go forward from this point. Feminine energy is finding that restive moment right now in this decision. It's creating a sense of peace for both masculine and feminine energy at this time as you make those decisions and choices and going forward from this point. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Six of Cups in combination with our Six of Pentacles in its reversal. For both masculine and feminine energy right now, there's a lot of care and attention being paid to building this healthy karmic supportive network for yourself at this moment as you proceed forward from this time, versus any spaces or places that you feel aren't necessarily giving back in kind at this moment, that don't feel like they're creating that reciprocal give and take moment as you proceed forward from this point. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Strength card, which is what we love to see, because this is a moment, particularly for masculine and feminine energy, that is requiring a certain degree or level of strength. This is coming through situations and circumstances with that sense of mutual empowerment, with that sense of building this degree of strength for each other as you proceed forward from this point. For the masculine and feminine energy that is in union right now, this is effectively overcoming some of that hurdle that you're currently experiencing, with a lot of care and degree on the supportive network that you are setting for yourself forward from this time, versus any places or spaces that you're not necessarily seeing that level or degree of reciprocity. For masculine and feminine energy right now, this is that moment of building strength for yourself as you proceed forward from this moment. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union at this time, this is that point of orientation that you yourself are paying attention to around the circumstances and situations that you feel are creating healthy karmic connections for you at this time, versus those places and spaces that you're not necessarily seeing that same reciprocity, that same give and take. But you're building this level and degree of strength as you proceed forward from this point. And this is where we're seeing a lot of that confidence coming back into play. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Six of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with the World card. So again, a lot of work right now being paid towards building this path of clarity for yourself at this moment, coming into this greater flow state, but also recognizing situations or circumstances that you don't necessarily see, or you're not identifying that equal give and take energy in right now. This is that point of observation in terms of, again, for both masculine and feminine energy, recognizing what feels like it is creating that sense of flow for you right now, keeping your eye on that bigger picture, pushing through right now for that higher moment, even around some situations and circumstances that you're not necessarily seeing the reciprocity that you would ideally desire at this time. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our 10 of Cups in its reversal. This is that moment for both masculine and feminine energy, that there is this refocusing in terms of what those long-term goals and what those long-term plans are. For both masculine and feminine energy, this is proving to be a bit of a challenge today. For both masculine and feminine energy, what we're really seeing is happening is that there is this point of clarification that you're effectively trying to work on right now. For the energy that is in union, there's a lot of care and consideration that you're paying towards your long-term goals, your long-term plans at this time, with a point of recognition in terms of what you feel is moving you in that direction right now, versus any spaces or places that you're not seeing that equal give and take on right now. Masculine and feminine energy that's in union right now will be putting a lot of care and attention in building this level of reciprocity between you as you go forward from this point to overcome any of the challenges and hurdles, with that picture on set on being able to come into a space of moving with this degree of ability as you proceed forward from this point. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union at this time, there's a lot of care and consideration that's being paid right now towards what feels like it is giving back to you in kind right now, what feels like it is feeling like it is creating that sense of equal give and take, versus the spaces and places that do not feel like they're providing this equality. They're not providing this equal give and take. And that is that determination point that we're seeing between the masculine cards at this moment, all to that degree of building this greater flow state as you proceed forward from this point. Continuing to get clarity on these cards right now between our Page of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Four of Swords. So a moment right now that is requiring a point of rest for both masculine and feminine energy. This will feel a bit different. For masculine energy, what we're really identifying at this moment is this is an opportunity of really assessing where you're able to put your own direction right now as it relates to your tangible opportunities. For masculine energy, this is where we're seeing a lot of those doubts and fears coming into play at this moment. Because while we do see that there is something here about your own confidence being shaken around some circumstances, we are also recognizing that there is this point of easement that you yourself are effectively trying to move into at this time. And it is requiring you to assess where you're putting your energy at this moment versus those spaces that you may need to feel like you have to have some kind of pause in at this time as you proceed forward. While for feminine energy right now, this is giving a moment of, again, having some degree of allowing for some restive energy to come into play on some circumstances and situations right now. For the feminine energy that is in union right now, there could be a lot of care and consideration that is being paid towards situations or circumstances where you are recognizing that the masculine energy is not in a place or in a space that they are able to offer these tangibles to you at this time, but allowing this degree of patience as you undergo or experience this at this moment. While for the other part of the feminine collective that is not in union right now, this is coming into a point of easement, potentially around any circumstances or situations around a masculine energy that you do not see coming forward in the way that you would ideally desire at this point, allowing this to be that moment of rest, giving yourself that opportunity as you concentrate on building this flow state for yourself at this moment. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Page of Wands energy. So we love to see this right now because what we're really identifying right now is this is the communication coming through to allow for those opportunities to help as it relates to being able to move through some of these circumstances and situations right now. For masculine and feminine, this will feel different. For masculine energy right now, this is that moment of requiring a degree of pause, allowing yourself a moment of rest, potentially to get your own confidence back as it relates to circumstances and experiences that you're currently having that require a point of judgment. This is really giving a lot of care and consideration of masculine energy going through this point of pause to be able to determine what it is that they can really give forth with at this time and how they want to articulate and communicate upon that at this moment. While for feminine energy right now, this is potentially, if you are in union with masculine energy right now, working with the masculine energy, providing this opportunity of space or rest, recognizing that the masculine is at a point where they might not necessarily be able to come forward in the way that you would ideally desire at this moment, but that is clearly communicating their own inability, clearly communicating their own needs at this time. And that's why you're able to provide this to them at this time. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union right now, this is a moment that, again, for the masculine energy, there is something here that is requiring some point of rest. There are some situations or circumstances that you are effectively going through right now that need to be articulated in terms of what it is that you can truly offer at this moment versus what it is you feel like you tangibly cannot, with some of your confidence being shaken. This is that moment of articulating right now through this point of difficulty that could be feeling like a real challenge point for the masculine energy, because we do see that there is something that is requiring some degree of peace or rest coming into play here. While for the feminine energy at this moment, this is a moment that you yourself have a lot of orientation right now on your own need and degree to rest at this time, with, again, some concentration right now around either a masculine energy that is expressing to you some ability in terms of what they can and cannot offer at this moment, versus potentially, we keep seeing here this determination point for the feminine energy between the masculine energy that's coming forward with that tangibility, with that security, with that stability, versus the energy that is communicative at this time. For feminine, this is that moment that the communication is really key to help determine what they're going to move forward that they feel is creating that sense of stability at this moment, versus the spaces or places that they feel are just creating instability with their lack of communication at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Four of Swords in combination with our Strength card. So, working through a moment right now that is feeling like a bit of a challenge for both feminine and masculine energy, because what we're really identifying right now is this moment of requiring some point reaching almost a point that is requiring you to take some rest for yourself at this time around circumstances and situations, but also having this moment of getting back your strength to a certain extent, allowing this to be a bit of an opportunity and recognizing what you effectively need at this time to be able to have that courage going forward. For masculine energy, we're seeing that there is this need of rest coming into play to help with your own confidence at this time. While for feminine energy, what we're really identifying is, again, you are also in this point where you are getting a certain degree of confidence by allowing this opportunity of rest for you at this moment. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Queen of Cups in its upright, which we also love to see at this time, because for feminine energy, we are seeing that one of the reasons that you're allowing yourself this period of rest is because you are coming into your own emotional alignment. What we really love about this energy for feminine right now is feminine energy is recognizing their own needs at this time. Feminine is keeping a lot of orientation right now on working through into their own flow state, taking this ability and degree onto yourself at this moment to give yourself what you need at this time. For the feminine energy that is in union at this moment, there's a point of recognition that is occurring right now around the masculine, that the masculine is in a moment where they might not necessarily be able to come forward in the tangible way that you would ideally require or desire them to, because they're working through some situations or circumstances where their own confidence is being effectively challenged at this time. Feminine energy that's in union right now is taking on this burden for themselves at this time, allowing this space to rest in the relationship, allowing this space to rest for their own selves at this time, with a lot of care and consideration in terms of what they feel is emotionally valuable and best for them at this time, working on their own ability of strength as you proceed forward from this point. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union, and for masculine energy right now, this is being able to receive this degree of rest, receive this degree of easement, helping you to get back your own confidence through some situations or circumstances that you are also recognizing need a bit of that point of easement on to help restore your own confidence at this time, with the supportive emotional energy around you that is allowing you this space, allowing you this degree, because they are in a point of emotional balance. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union at this time, this is going to feel a bit different. Feminine energy we see right now is taking a lot of energy towards themselves at this moment. There's a lot of care and consideration the feminine is paying right now towards what they feel is creating an emotionally healthy karmic connection for themselves at this moment versus the places and spaces that are not. Feminine energy is not effectively chasing after any energy that isn't coming towards them in a tangible way at this time. Why are they not doing that? Well, we see here because feminine energy is putting a lot of care and attention in their own emotional self. You will recall over the last few days, this was a bit of effort that we had to see on the feminine's part to come into the space of opening their heart space. What we really see here is now that the feminine's heart space is open, feminine is doing a lot of work right now to protect that energy, to maintain that point of emotional balance, even through circumstances and situations that are feeling somewhat trying at this time, but with a lot of care and attention on their own immediate needs to be able to keep their own confidence, to keep their own stability, even through some points of pause right now, or some moments that feel like they are more level or even. They're not seeing as much activity. But what we love about this for feminine right now is feminine is just accepting it as it is and just recognizing that they need these points of rest as they proceed forward from this point. They're not rushing into things. They're not chasing after things that aren't just building that stability and support for them as they proceed forward from this time. While for masculine energy, this is a moment that you yourself are giving this opportunity of rest for yourself in this moment if you're not in union. Again, with this concentration on rebuilding your own courage, rebuilding your own strength, again, with a lot of care and attention towards manifesting a feminine energy that you feel is in that point of emotional balance. For a lot of the masculine energy here, there could be feeling right now that there needs to be some kind of pause required to give yourself this space that you need at this time, potentially as it relates to some of this feminine energy. But also we're seeing here that there's a lot of care and orientation that's being paid to the fact that this is something that you're doing to get your own confidence back, if you will, potentially as it relates to trying to come towards a feminine energy that you're recognizing is in this place of emotional balance. We don't necessarily see a lot of rushing movement towards this energy today because the masculine is putting a lot of care and attention into their own sense of stability at this moment. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Strength card in combination with our 10 of Cups in its reversal. For both masculine and feminine energy, what we're really identifying right now is there is something here about your own plans for the future feeling like they are moved away, or they are feeling somewhat shaken to some extent, feeling some uncertainty as it relates to that long-term path or that long-term outcome that you're building for yourself at this moment. For both masculine and feminine energy, what we like to see is that even while you are having this point of recognition, you are being very strong throughout it. You're keeping your own confidence here. You are working on your sense of confidence to help face any of these hurdles or setbacks that you're effectively experiencing as it relates to building this long-term path for yourself moving forward from this time. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Emperor energy, and we love to see this because what we're really identifying right now is for both masculine and feminine energy. This is what we're really seeing about that idea of coming back into confidence right now. For masculine energy, this is a moment that you are recognizing your own ability to overcome any setbacks right now with a lot of care and concentration on mastery of the self at this moment. For the masculine energy right now, this is working through some situations or circumstances that you may be feeling like your own anxieties or doubts and fears of the future are coming to the forefront right now. But what we love to see about this energy for the masculine energy that is receiving this at this time is this is that moment that is really identifying places or spaces of coming into your own power at this moment, of maintaining this point of mastery. And what we identify here is this is effectively that point. The masculine energy is giving themselves what they need at this moment to overcome some of their own anxieties and fears as it relates to how to go forward at this time. This is that moment that is building this confidence to help clear some of these fears that are rising to the surface. And it's all based on the masculine energy getting their own confidence back, but it is feeling like a lot of self-work at this moment. While for feminine energy right now, what we're really seeing is, again, for feminine energy that is in union right now, this is a moment that is feeling like somewhat of a challenge because we are identifying here that there is some moment that is shaking your own worries, your own doubts, your own fears on what the future looks like, what that long-term path looks like. We see that you are being very strong, but if you are in union right now, you are similarly getting that type of support right now from a masculine energy that is similarly doing the same work. That you're both being very brave and strong in the face of circumstances and situations that have rattled you a bit as it relates to the long-term path. While for the feminine energy that is not in union right now, this is working through any kind of setbacks that you're currently experiencing right now, taking this time, allowing yourself this point of balance, allowing yourself this point of rest, working very hard on maintaining your emotional balance to hold on to a flow state at this time, while also recognizing to a certain extent that it is requiring an act of strength, but with a manifestation on working towards a manifestation of masculine that you similarly would recognize would be a supportive system towards you right now, even in the face of any of your own anxieties and doubts and fears. While for masculine energy right now that is not in union, this is similarly a moment that you are feeling some of this shakiness as it relates to that long-term path today. Putting a lot of this care and concentration on one's own self, one's own confidence, trying to come into this sense of self-mastery through some difficulties or obstacles right now that are pushing you into that state of finding that courage within yourself at this moment. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Ace of Wands in combination with our Queen of Cups. What we love to see here for both masculine and feminine energy, we are seeing that there is this point of balance that is being reached to a certain extent. For masculine energy right now, this is that moment, if you are in union, that you are working right now. And there is something about really utilizing and coming into allowing the feminine energy to work to a very big capacity as a supportive unit for yourself as you proceed forward from this time. There's even something here that is kind of potentially bringing the masculine energy into a bit of a childlike state at this moment. Some of those doubts and the fears of the future coming into play. But what we really love about this is for the masculine energy that's in union at this time, this is getting that supportive set of emotional confidence from the feminine energy to help you through any of these hurdles and challenges that you're experiencing right now. While for the feminine energy, there is something here about coming for that's in union. There is something here that is coming through or coming to the fold right now of working in some capacity as a nurturing energy for the masculine energy that's coming towards you at this time. Because while we see here that the masculine energy is communicating, we are also seeing for the feminine energy that's in union right now, that masculine energy is having some moments of doubts and fears or uncertainty coming into play that is kind of putting them in more of this childlike energy, but the feminine energy is coming forward in this emotionally supportive way to assist and lend aid to this energy as it's needed. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union right now, this is going to feel like a bit of a challenge point, because what we're really identifying right now is there is something coming through if for the feminine energy not in union right now that is really oriented on the care of the self, really oriented on what is creating emotional balance for the feminine at this time. And feminine energy is effectively allowing communication towards them at this moment, but we can really see here that even with some of this communication that's coming through, feminine energy is weighing the communication that they're both receiving and giving right now, all based on whether it is allowing the feminine to maintain this level of emotional stability as they go forward from this point. This is that judgment moment that we're seeing for the feminine energy. It not even necessarily mattering right now what is coming through so much as whether it allows the feminine energy to maintain an even emotional center that is not effectively in union. There could be a feeling right now of wanting to bring some communication towards a feminine energy that you are seeing and recognizing is able to maintain this degree of emotional stability for themselves at this moment. But we are seeing here that there may be something where this is where your confidence is feeling a bit shaken at this time. That something about this feels like some new communication that you want to bring forth. There's something here that almost renders you in a childlike moment as it relates to reaching out to this energy right now, because there's something here that feels like you are feeling a bit of a lack of confidence in communicating, but you're also feeling that need and desire to communicate with that balanced feminine that is causing a bit of that challenge or uncertainty for you, even as you're trying to figure out how to approach this energy. Clarification on these cards right now. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with communication. Communication coming through. We've got here our Two of Wands coming to the surface, which we love to see for both masculine and feminine energy at this time. This is really beautiful energy, even for those that are not necessarily in union at this moment, because what we are effectively seeing at this time is for the feminine and masculine energy that is in union right now. This is a moment that the feminine energy is maintaining their own emotional balance. They're putting a lot of care and attention into keeping their own emotional center through this time, recognizing the masculine energy is in a point right now that has kind of put them in a bit more of a childlike state, specifically because of some of these doubts and fears rising to the surface. But they are working in combination right now, and they are actively communicating to help address any hurdles and setbacks that are currently happening at this time. While for the feminine and masculine energy that is not in union at this moment, we are seeing that even here, there is a lot of care and attention that is being paid to communication at this time. Feminine energy is, again, focused right now on their own sense of emotional stability, their own sense of emotional support, looking and opening and being accessible to messages, communication, anything that allows them to be able to maintain their own emotional balance at this time. And we see that feminine energy is active in a bit more of an active state right now as they kind of move into this point of flow state, allowing their own communication to be set forth right now, allowing this emotional balance to help lay that path to overcome any of the anxieties of the future right now. Because while we see that there are some anxieties about the future coming to the surface right now, we see that they're being utilized in a productive way, that there's communication that's happening through this right now in terms of allowing that communication to help overcome some of these doubts and fears. For the masculine energy right now that is not in union, this is a moment of potentially having some point of communication today, working on some of this communication in terms of what you want to effectively communicate as it relates towards a direction, towards a feminine energy that you recognize is in or is able to maintain a state of emotional balance at this time. And it is this type of work that you're effectively working on. And this could even be for the masculine energy that's not in union right now, trying to conduct or trying to determine what it is that you want to communicate towards this energy, because we see here that there is some kind of newness in this communication that's opening up here, and a lot of this is kind of this entryway energy in terms of trying to set that communication mode in order to build some kind of foundation here to address any anxieties and fears as it relates to the long-term plan going forward. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, we love to see these cards in combination. We have here combination of our Queen of Cups in combination with our Emperor card. Look at these two cards in combination right now. Absolutely beautiful. For the masculine and feminine energy that is in union right now, this is where we see this like harmony coming through, even through any kind of hurdles or setbacks that you're experiencing that are effectively shaking your own anxieties and doubts and fears around the future and the long-term plan and path that you're manifesting going forward. Feminine energy is building courage right now through these opportunities and circumstances by maintaining a degree of emotional balance even in the light of them. While masculine is getting support from that feminine energy to regain their own confidence. As I said, getting that emotional energy from the feminine right now to support them even through some of their own confidence being shaken, that is requiring a degree of self-mastery, but is also bringing the masculine energy into a point of high empowerment at this moment. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union right now, this is working a lot right now on one's own self. Feminine energy is keeping a lot of concentration towards maintaining a degree and level of emotional balance for themselves at this time. Recognizing, working towards this sense of keeping their eye on the bigger picture and overcoming any immediate obstacles as it relates to their own anxieties in terms of their own ability to manifest at this moment. The strength exercise for feminine right now is one about how to be able to maintain one's own emotional balance in the face of some of these challenges. But again, being able to successfully do so, coming into that flow state as you work to manifest towards yourself at this moment, a manifestation of masculine that you similarly recognize has this same ability to maintain a point of self-mastery even in the face of anxiety coming to the surface right now. This is that point of optics that is helping you come into a point of better understanding what it is that you're truly manifesting at this moment. While for masculine energy, this is a moment that you yourself are also recognizing that there are some situations and circumstances coming to the surface right now as it relates to your long-term plans, as it relates to your own ability to manifest what you're trying to manifest at this moment. But again, for the masculine energy that's not in union, this is a lot of attention on one's own self right now. This could be feeling like a lot of personal work that you need to do to find confidence for yourself at this moment. Again, potentially working to manifest towards yourself right now, or working to move back into alignment with a feminine energy that you recognize similarly is able to maintain this point of emotional balance as you proceed forward from this point. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Lovers in its reversal. What are we seeing here right now? We keep seeing this card coming to the surface right now. There's a lot of worries as it relates to partnership that's coming into play right now. I'm going to say it again. This doesn't necessarily need to be around romantic partnerships. This could be any kind of partnerships at this moment. We've been seeing this coming up in the cards over the last few days. For the masculine and feminine energy right now that is working in union, this is a point of helping to work through any situations or circumstances that could be feeling like they are challenging or difficult for your own partnership at this time. What we really see here is the feminine and masculine energy are working to maintain this point of balance for themselves at this time to help navigate this terrain and address any issues around partnership at this time. This is either dealing with working through the partnership difficulties that they themselves are experiencing at this moment by being able to be emotionally balanced and maintaining a point of self-mastery as you take these into a degree or come into play on these. Or this could be masculine and feminine energy in union working through other outside challenges as it relates to partnership at this time that need to be worked through and addressed. This could be where some of those anxieties or doubts or fears are coming to the surface right now that need to be effectively worked through. For the masculine and feminine energy that are not in union right now, this is that point of optics that you are looking towards right now to see if you can come into a space of healing partnerships that may not necessarily be in connection right now. Because what we're really identifying right now is for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in partnership, this is that moment of optics, of determination in terms of looking at the energy that you're not in connection with and asking yourself if they have this degree and ability. The masculine energy is maintaining a lot of willpower at this moment. They're working on their own degree of self-mastery through some challenging circumstances or some situations or circumstances that have effectively shaken your own confidence at this time. Masculine energy is working on building this degree or level of self-control, of self-mastery, allowing this to be an act of willpower at this moment. Looking at past partnerships or dissolved partnerships right now and really asking, does that feminine energy show a degree and ability of maintaining a level of emotional balance as it relates to whether this can be repaired at this time or whether this needs to effectively be moved away from. Similarly, for feminine right now, this is a moment that you yourself are maintaining a level and degree of emotional balance as it relates to circumstances related to partnerships that are not necessarily in a union state or putting a lot of care and attention into these broken partnerships right now. But what we love about this is you're not necessarily just moving, as we saw, you're not just necessarily moving back into them with a degree of desire to join back into partnership, but you're really looking towards them right now, asking yourself, do you see the energy's ability to maintain this point? Do you see the masculine's energy in these broken partnerships as one that is able to maintain a degree of self-mastery through challenges that is helping you effectively orient in terms of deciding whether this is something that you want to come into a place of healing on, easement, or if this is something that you're just going to allow to remain, let go, and shed. Because we're seeing for the feminine right now, it's this desire to maintain emotional balance that is key and working to manifest this emperor energy that is taking over the priority of being in partnership at this moment. And similarly for masculine energy, desiring this degree of emotional balance to be found within the feminine to help inform your decisions on partnership as you go forward from this point. Final card for today's spread between, hold on a moment, clarification between, we've got here our Two of Wands in combination with our Lovers in its reversal. So what we're really seeing here is that moment of working through any difficulties as it relates to partnership at this time. Doesn't necessarily need to be romantic right now. Could be any partnerships that you feel are in a point of disillusion or require some point of remedy. Seeing here, what we really love is the fact that there's active communication occurring around these partnerships right now to really determine if these are situations that can be amended, how they can be amended, how they can be fixed, or whether they can just need to be let go at this time, recognizing that they're not going to bring into this union energy that you are ideally desiring and aspiring for at this moment. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with clarity, with truth, with honesty, with openness. We love to see this energy right now because what it's really showing us is this point of getting the clarity that you seek right now. Why do we see that there's this moment that's happening right now around partnerships to build this communication, around those partnerships that need amending, around those partnerships that need some kind of work or fundamental work around them right now? It's all for the sake of clarification, getting the optics that you need to be able to determine how or whether these energies can move back into alignment or whether they just need to be shed as you proceed forward from this point. All of this is coming from communication right now and the clarity you receive to help you navigate that space as you proceed forward from this point. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now is, not surprised to see it, we've got here our Six of Swords in its reversal. So really, this is a moment right now that for masculine and feminine energy, there is something here about decisions that need to be made right now as you proceed forward from this point. But there's a lot of grief that we see is being carried at this time. There's a lot of grief that is trying to be shed at this moment at the same time. That's why we see for the feminine energy right now, a lot of this challenge that you're going through at this time is trying to maintain this point of emotional balance as you proceed through some moments that are shaking your own confidence or ability to manifest the long-term path or goal for yourself at this moment. While for masculine, it is that same moment right now. It is trying to find that way to move forward right now, releasing some of this doubt, releasing some of this grief. But we are seeing here that this is hard because we're seeing that there are some situations that you're moving away from right now, but there's still a lot of grief attached to them that is creating some of this challenge point for the masculine energy in the sense of your own confidence being shaken, and for feminine energy in your own concentration in terms of trying to maintain your own sense of emotional balance as you proceed forward from this point. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it with me. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. My private readings are done over video with the option of a recording sent to you afterwards. And if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber ID at the point of payment. Also, please keep in mind that if you're going to book a reading on my site, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you would like to have that reading. Most importantly, I would like to remind you of the most important thing, and that is that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never message you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your DMs and tell you that I have a very special message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and sharing this reading with me today, and we will do this again tomorrow.